Okay, guys, today's topic is round robin, which is a CPU scheduling algorithm. So before we go into the round robin algorithm example, you need to know these terms or these words before. One of these is time quantum. What is time quantum? Time quantum is the limitation of a single process can run at once. Arrival time, burst time, conclusion or completion time, turnaround time, waiting time, request queue, Gantt chart and response times. It all will be included in the example. Actually, we have to calculate them. So let's move on. So here is three formula for calculating them. First one is, here is the turnaround time. Turnaround time equal to completion time minus arrival time, and for waiting time equal to turnaround time minus burst time, and the response times equal to CPU first time minus arrival time. So here is the example. I took time quantum's value 4 and took 6 process with arrival time and burst time. So now for the first process, here look at this, here is the request queue and here is the Gantt chart. So for the first process, just P1 into the Gantt chart. And what is the burst time of for first process? First process burst time is 4. And what is the time quantum? Time quantum value is 4. So we can take 4 for the P1. So we take it and 4 will give into this Gantt chart. So the value will be for P1 the value will be 0. So P1 done. And at this time when P1 in the CPU, so the value is 4. So what is the arrival times 4 for the which process arrival time is 4. The 5 num process is arrival in the request with the value of 4. So 4 this process will be added to the request queue. So let's move on to the next process, which is P2. Because we have the time quantum is 4, but for P2 the burst time is 5, so we can take the value of 4, we cannot take 5. So 4 plus 4 equal to 8, and how much time left for the P2? 1. So at this time when P2 is running in the CPU, the which process value is 8. In here the 6 num process maximum value arrival time is 6. So we added this P6 into the request queue, and here you can see after the P6 we are adding P2. Why? Because P2 isn't over yet. P2 after first run P2 has the value of 1, so we have to calculate it again. So move to the next process. As like before, we take the P3, but here look at this. P3 is just end with the value of 10, because the P3's burst time is 2. So we can take maximum 4, but if we have the minimum value we can take it. So for this we are just taking it 2. As like that the all process will be done. Look at this, and this is the final. So now here is we just calculating the Gantt chart, but what about the turnaround time and waiting time? So here is this. For turnaround time and waiting time you have to calculate it. So this is the table we just completed before, and here is the Gantt chart. And now where is CT? It's conclusion time, then turnaround time, waiting time and response time. So for the completion time you have to look the Gantt chart from right to left. Now look at this here. P1 at which value P1 just end. For P1 the value is 4, so we put 4 in here, and for P2 look at here, the P2 is the P2 has been in the value of 19, so we put 19 here. As like that, P3 10 and P4 11, P5 is 21. Look at this, there is 21, and the P6 will be the 18. So now what is the turnaround time? I told you the turnaround time is equal to completion time minus arrival time. So for first, completion time is 4, and for the first person, look at here, the arrival time is 0, so 4 minus 0 equal to 4. And for the second process, 19 minus 1 equal to 18. For third, 10 minus 2 equal to 8. For fourth nung process, 11 minus 3 equal to 8, and so on. And what about the waiting time? Waiting time equal to turnaround time minus the burst time. So what is the turnaround time for process 1? Process 1 turnaround time is 4. What is the burst time is 4. So 4 minus 4 equal to 0. For process 2, 18 minus 5 equal to 13. As like that, we just calculate all. And what about the response time? Now look at the Gantt chart. Now look the Gantt chart from left to right. When the first process came into the CPU scheduling or came into the Gantt chart, for P1, just look at here, P1 is came in the Gantt chart at the value of 0. So the response time will be 0. And for P2, we have, look at here, P2 is came in the Gantt chart with the 4. So in the previous formula I told you what is the response time, the CPU first came minus the arrival time. So for this P2 came to the Gantt chart is 4, but the arrival times of P2 is 1. So 4 minus 1 equal to 3. And for P3, 8 minus 2 equal to 6, and so on. So how to calculate the average turnaround time and the average waiting time? For the average turnaround time and the waiting time, you have to just take the total turnaround time of all 6 processes and divide it with the process number. And for the waiting time, the same. So look at this here, the total turnaround time summation is 67, and for the waiting times summation is 46. So we have take the 6 process. So for average turnaround time, 67 by 6 equal to 11.16, and for the average waiting time, 46 by 6 equal to 7.66. So that's all. Hope you guys like it.